Corrie Thorne, the spiritual healer and teacher, life coach, and psychic medium. Sorry, I'm just bringing up on my, just paying attention to my phone, trying to bring up on my phone because I can't see the comments if I'm any other way. So just coming in to do the forecast reading for 2020. This one is actually for the water and earth signs that I'm doing today. And yesterday I posted the fire signs and the air signs, and they're in individual videos, so you can watch both of those on the on my YouTube page. So I also am sharing, this is also shared on Facebook. So if you are my Facebook followers and you have not yet joined into my YouTube page, my YouTube channel, I suggest you go in, subscribe, and like the button for notifications so that you can get notifications for whenever I'm going live. This is the beginning of me being live pretty much almost every day that it is possible for me to go live. And we have a cat clean this way. Cat cleaned herself over here. That is Princess Leia. So she's here joining us. I can see, oh, I have somebody. I have a few people. Hello, Stacy, and hello, Alicia. Hi. Welcome. I'm doing the forecast readings for anyone who's under the earth signs, which is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo, and also for the year for water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. So this is anyone born under those signs. If there's a message in here that you feel is relating to you or resonates with you, then it is also for you. This is the forecast for 2020, and I've been doing a lot of writing, so I'm looking down at the paper. In the past couple minutes, I've been just scribbling and writing as I've been meditating and channeling through into 2020. This is general. This is not personal. So if you feel like nothing's kind of resonating, or you don't think that's even possible for you, then it may not be, but it is for a collective. So welcome, and even if it's not for you, hang on, because you never know what's in here. And it's live, of course, so anything can come. So I'm starting with the earth, signs, and what channeled through for me when I very first started was what you thought you were getting, and what you thought you were going to be receiving in 2020 may not be exactly the way that you thought it would be, but it may possibly be even better again, is what I'm getting. It feels like there is a strong return to the essence of that stubbornness and that willingness to not give up. That winning attitude is paying off for earth signs coming in 2020 in a lot of ways, in some ways in a big way. I feel as if a lot of the earth sign people, I'm going especially into Capricorn and Virgo, those two especially, I was channeling through a lot of financially challenged in 2019. 2018 was the beginning of it. Not that you went broke, some may have, but that you really found yourself being out of your comfort zone financially, and it makes you very uncomfortable to not have certainty. Certainty is a big thing for earth signs. They want to be grounded and connected, and it wasn't there. And there's a return to that nothing's ever certain or guaranteed. Of course, we never fully know that, but it is that there is a return and like an increase in the finances, as if your investments are coming back up, the work is back, you're getting more hours at work, a new job opportunity. But I also see the essence of somebody building, like some people building a business, and this really comes in for Taurus. The brilliant mind that you have can really bring forth. I feel like you've been blueprinting and planning out building a business or starting out in a business, and this is the year to really start putting that into action. This is the year that the economy, even though this may sound really crazy right now, because I know of, for a lot of people, especially in the western part of Alberta right now, or some parts of BC, you're really saying, really, would this really be true? But it just feels like there's a return or an increase in the economy, and it's going to be a good upswing and a chance and an opportunity for you to really jump on board into becoming a business person or growing your business, whatever it may be. It is there. But this also resonates in through kind of building your investments in any way. It's a good time to make, to look at your portfolio, to start building your portfolio. And that I feel like that is very important for the earth signs, is that they need to have that clear direction. I do feel you being challenged. There's an essence of earth signs being challenged, as if somebody sometimes like tries to knock you out from underneath your feet, like just kind of swoops you from underneath the feet and trying to kind of challenge you, as if you, almost as if they have convinced themselves that you took something from them. Like there's just this person, this ex-business partner, whatever it may be, and this sounds really kind of personal, like this is a personal story here. So whoever's watching this, this may be something that's personal in your life that you've already heard, that you've already been aware of, and this is the year that you see them kind of try to do this, or a family member or something that just keeps trying to like cut you off at the knees, like just trying to take you out from your plans and your destiny, but they can't. Nobody can keep you from that destiny that you've been creating. You've worked too hard, it's happening, and it is taking place. I also have the feeling, and I'm going to say feeling, I have a feeling in my heart that for a lot of earth signs, that it is time for you to take off that protection that you've been wearing over your heart that keeps you from letting in relationships. So if you were hurt in the past and you're still holding on to that, it's like you have to let that go. You can't take that childhood hurt and pain into 2020. And every story that you're telling regarding somebody hurting you is of a person who now no longer exists. Because just like that, whoever you were don't exist, neither does that person. So you've been hanging on to an old story and an old storyline for way too long, and it's holding you back from letting in that right kind of person in your life. And if this is resonating with anyone else that's watching, then you can rest assured that you don't need to use that story. You don't need that protection, and you don't need that protection on your heart. There is somebody coming into your life, or there's somebody already in your life that is like a breath of fresh air. And I do feel like possibly this may be an air sign, or it's a water sign. And it's not by accident kind of that I have earth and water in the same video. A lot of earth and water tend to go well together, and that's the way it's coming up for me. Whether or not, I'm not an astrologist, I don't do astrology, so I don't really know. I'm just kind of, I channel my messages. My messages are channeled from my channel, who I've been working with for a lot of years. And it's like, so the earth, I feel like for some earth signs, this is an air partnership. Somebody who's under one of the air signs, and they kind of stir you up. They give you the courage to get going, and they kind of help you make a choice to buy or purchase without having to go to Consumer Reports. I feel like a lot of the earth signs got to research, make sure that I have to do this first and I have to do that, and like, you don't need to go check out all the Consumer Reports or check out all the data or get all the numbers first. That it's okay sometimes to fly by the seat of your pants. Not really for you guys all the time, but this is a fly by the seat of your pants. And I feel like for some reason I feel like there's been an energy of, I'm gonna go Virgo is what I'm picking up here. A lot of my Virgo energy feels as if you've been skipping jobs over the past few years. Like you've been hopping around trying to find a place where you belong, or a place where you're valued, or a place where you feel like you're at home, or you can sit comfortably in. I feel as if this is the year that you look at it in the way of, I'm just going to settle myself into this job, or there is a job coming that you really settle into, but there's a side job. There's a side artistic, creative project that you have been working on, that 2020 is the year to get back to it. You need to get back into the things that fill your heart. Even though you're earth and you're practical, you love hard, you create, you have this creative sense, Virgos. And I just feel as if you need to really take that creative side project, give it life, breathe life into it, create it. It is time to write that book, start that painting, start that woodworking, whatever it may be. This is the time to move forward. in it may take you up till the summer months before you actually get the courage to kind of look at it again, because it feels so overwhelming sometimes. But once you do, and once you sit in it, it's gonna fly. Things are really flying. A lot of the earth sign also, I feel as if there is there's marriage, and this is marriage, so healthy relationships, really a return to healthy relationships. And I have a little bit of a personal message here, again, another little personal one, and it feels as if there's been and this, I'm going to go female. This feels like you have allowed yourself to stay way too long in a relationship that has been very emotionally unhealthy for you. And you're scared and you're afraid to kind of take a leap. And because you need to know you're safe on the other side, you need to know that you're safer outside of this than you are on the inside of it. And what's been challenging you, I feel like you're just all of a sudden going to find this strength inside of you, and you're going to have the courage, and this is like, I'm done, and you're just sailing on, moving on, and there's a smile returns to your face, and you're going to be so pleased with yourself for doing this. And then as we're coming into, I'm going to go back into, I'm gonna go back into, I think, Capricorn. I know I'm jumping around each sign. It's like each one of these signs wants their own little story, and that feels like these three earth signs are a little bit of competition for each other a little bit here. So there's some serious competition in the earth signs. You're faced with competition in 2020. You are challenged with competition. You have so much of this around you, and all three of you signs are battling through as I'm trying to channel through the message and clumping you all together. You all want your own individuality, your individual readings. You want your own little sessions. You want your own time. And I just feel like this is part of your personality as well, is that no matter how much you try to be a part of, or you try to be in a group, you are very individual, and you have to make sure you take the time in 2020 to still be that individual person, because I feel like a lot of you are in situations or in environments where it's a lot of, we have to do things with everyone else. There's always other people around, and it's like you don't always want other people around, and you're trying to be that, and you can't be it every day, but you're trying really hard to be it for the people that you love. I have a sense of weddings. I see wedding bells, and this comes into an engagement that happens pretty fast. I want to say by Valentine's Day. I wouldn't be surprised to see. I know it's a cliche day that, oh, love is in the air, but it's like, no, you would never have thought you were ever going to be the person to get married. You have always said you would not, and now you're talking you are, and there's wedding bells ringing, and I can hear them. I'm also picking up a motorcycle. I see somebody with bell, like one of those little bells on the bottom of a motorcycle, and I feel like this is a spirit coming in, and they had a birthday. They had a birthday around the time of Taurus, or you have a birthday around the time of Taurus, and I feel like there's a celebration or a memorial service or something for this person, and they're on a Harley. It's a Harley Davidson. There's a bell underneath, and I see the bell. They're actually showing me the bell, that they always had this bell, and I feel like somebody may have this bell. It may be a Capricorn or Virgo, or you both may be, but it feels very Taurus to me. I feel the sense of these like bull horns, like Texas Longhorns. Like I just see this Texas Longhorns, and I don't know if this person had these Texas Longhorns, and this has come flying in here. This person's determined they're getting into this session today, and they were a big teddy bear, even though they might not have looked like it, or they might not have always act like it, but they were a big teddy bear. But they're showing me like these horns, and I don't know if they're like on a placard on a wall, or if they were on like a car or something they might have had as well. I don't know, but I'm seeing them, and they're just saying to tell you that you're safe to love, and you're safe to move on, and you're very guided, and you're very protected, and they're there with you all the time. And here's the commitment that I pick up, and this is the Enchanted Map deck. Sorry, it's hard for me to get through the light. Love is in the air, and this is for a lot of earth signs. Love is really in the air, and this is a year to, like I said, to peel back that protection, to know that you're not always here to do it all alone, that it's okay to let in love. And I feel like some of you might have made, I'm going to say this exactly as I get it. You may have made a mistake in your last marriage. You're not making a mistake in this marriage. So some of you were married or is married, or you're just getting out of a marriage, and you really know now where you're supposed to be, and it's happening. This 2020 is the year that it's happening. You know the person you're in love with. You know that person you want to be with. You know what you want in your life, and you're going after this. This is Earth, and it's definitely Earth sign, and I feel like you might think they're not there for you, or they're not going to be there for you, but I feel like they are. There's just something changing here, and trust what is fate, it shall be. And that's exactly as I'm getting. Trust what is fate, it shall be. Hi, Jess from Australia. I hope all is well for you in Australia. In Australia, we've been sending out so many prayers for Australia, watching and following on social media and the news. All right, and so I'm just pulling 3 more cards that are going for the earth signs before I move forward. And this is the validation that I'm getting, and this is the wishing well. And I just, like I said at the very beginning, for my earth signs, this is your money, like everything that you've been worried about financially is finally finding its way back up. Like your money situations are coming back up. And then the other card that came out is Peaks of Joy, and this is that leap of faith. Like I said, it's a leap of faith into choosing to start business. It's a leap of faith in choosing relationships. And this is so, you don't need to get all the data and all the research. You have to go on a instincts and intuition here, and just trust your gut. Trust your gut. What feels right in your heart feels right in your head, and it just feels right. And it's like, don't hold off another year or two. Don't keep hemming and hawing. Do it now. It's going to serve you well. It's going to serve your heart well, and you are going to be so happy. And then the other card that comes out with that is the balancing act. And I feel like because you're such an in-charge person, you can balance it all, but you're going to have to be a little bit more compassionate and understanding of other people. And because in a balancing act, it's giving and receiving, but if it's in partnership, it takes 2. So it's like you're going to have to kind of bend a little bit in 2020. You're going to have to be a little bit more flexible, because anything that's kind of, what it feels like to me is everything that has an equal flex on each end, it balances. If not, it doesn't. And it's like I just see this, I'm seeing this rod, and it's buckled like this, and it's got a bend in it, and you're both like all on board, and then all of a sudden that practical brain of the earth signs and start overthinking, and that little peaks of joy start to go, and this other person's flying high because you've built them up and got them all on board, and now they're staying here and you're not, and then it's like, you're coming down a little bit. So you have to kind of maintain that momentum. Don't let your head get in the way. Don't let the overthinking get in the way, and trust. Trust is a big one. This is a year of trust, honesty, and you're not going to get exactly what you want, but you're going to get what you need. So it's all falling into place. It is going to be an increase for a lot of those born under the earth signs. So much love to you all, and we're going to go right into the water signs. You're very welcome, Jess. I can tell you, Jess, I'm in Alberta, Canada, and I lived in Slave Lake, Alberta. And a few years ago, we had a huge fire in our community, and we lost a lot of homes and businesses had burnt. And then we also had Fort McMurray, which also had a big fire a few years ago, and same thing. We know that we know what it's like to go through those fires and how it's so out of control and out of our control. And so yes, many prayers to Australia, and I know it's such a big magnitude there right now. So we're sending out constant prayers for relief. Okay, water signs. So water signs would be Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. We have someone's outside shoveling snow. We had a huge snowstorm here earlier today, and now my next door neighbor shoveling, making me feel bad while I'm sitting in here, not out shoveling yet. Okay, so water signs. I'm just switching over energy here because it is a totally different energy here. So when I'm coming into the water signs and I'm switching over here, I have some challenges happening. And 2020 is going to bring some challenges, without a doubt. But on the bright side of a challenge is that when we have to let go, when we have to surrender, when we have to let go of the people or the situations that we thought would always be there and it's not meant to be there, then more beautiful things come. And so this feels as if, oh, you're a Pisces sun? Perfect. Love Canada. Yeah, it's beautiful here. Australia is one of my trips that I've always wanted to go on. I'll get there someday. Okay. And so we have some challenges coming up for water signs. Definitely being challenged. Love challenges. Yes, exactly. So Stacy, I know exactly what it's, it's like you get this thought and it's like, oh God. But sometimes, so Stacy, let's change perspective a little bit on the challenges. So what if the challenges are coming for us to remove the obstacles that are standing in our way for us to get to greatness? What if the obstacles are just removing the things that are standing in the way of us getting to greatness? And I'm not a water sign. I do have Pisces in my chart, but I'm an Aries. I'm a fire sign. So yeah, so let's not go right to the downside of this, okay, Stacy? I think there's an upside to this. And as I'm getting it, I felt very emotional as I was getting it. And so this is exactly how I wrote it down was, you're not getting your way. And this is not for all, don't get me wrong, this is not personal. So there's places in your life where you're not going to you can't get your way. And it's impossible to get your way because life has changed and challenged us already. And this is how I wrote this down. Life has changed and challenged us already. So the things that we really truly want and what our heart is crying out for, we can't get, and we're being very kind of reminded there's many other things still there for us. So it's also saying that sometimes we can be a little stubborn. And that's what's bringing us more challenges. And what's challenging you through, what is your biggest challenge here in 2020 is letting go of the control of an outcome, letting go of that stubbornness that we get caught in patterns and belief systems, and removing those and saying, okay, I have to change the way I'm looking at things, which makes total sense. I have to change things the way that they are. What you thought and this comes in the essence of even relationships. You totally see that, Stacy? Right? And so what you thought you wanted for your future has now had like a blank slate, but also what you thought you wanted was actually, and this, I feel like this is a lot of relationship parts here. What you thought you wanted in relationships actually is not what you truly wanted. It was what you had seen previously. So what you had seen in your parents, what you had seen in your grandparents, and you kept searching for that because you had some sort of emotional attachment to what relationships should look like. But you're not the same. You're not your parents, and you're not your grandparents, you're not your aunties and your uncles. You're not those people. Or you have that story of, well, if they all got divorced and I'm always going to be the person getting divorced, I'm always going to have challenging relationships, whatever it may be. Or my parents were, everybody was together forever. But you're not looking at the perspective of why, sometimes that doesn't mean it was healthy. Sometimes it just means they stayed. And so there's many ways that life is very much getting you to change up how you look at these. And it's like, so when we look at water and what happens to stagnant water, what happens to water that stays, that that doesn't flow, that's just like that stagnant water, it gets musty, it gets bacteria in it, it's like it becomes, it's not usable water, right? It's just there. When we look at water that's flowing, when we look at brooks and rivers that are flowing, they stay clear. It's always, the water is always running out, but there's always that flow of water. And that brings us clarity, is to kind of let that go and just know that, like, a lot of those brooks, they have the rocks and stuff. So we have those challenges, and we have those, they have to go over the bumps and over these. And so, but through it, it's like the water almost becomes filtered, is what I'm getting. And you see how nothing kind of sits stagnant. Everything is flowing through, and the waves come in and the waves go out. So we have these ups and downs in our emotions. And I just feel the sense that when you let go in 2020, when we let go of what we thought we wanted, or what we, this planted visions, or these planted habits and beliefs and conditions we were stuck to, when we let those go, and we just kind of go with the flow and know that not every day is going to be a perfect day. Of course, we're very well aware of that. And Stacey, I know for you, this, going through the grief and everything else that's, going through the every day of not knowing what's in store with experiencing the grief that you have to experience. But it's letting the flow of it, because every day is that new day. And the clarity that I'm seeing and the clarity that I'm getting is that acceptance of your human, acceptance of that you're human. So we don't have to hang on to that whole expectation. A lot of being hung on to expectations of how relationships should go, and that is every relationship, and it can't be that way. And so we're surrendering over. A lot of surrendering over happening for the water signs. I feel as if for some in a relationship, you were so determined that you wanted this, and you're not getting it. And this feels like it might be a partner, it might be a relationship you were trying to hold on to. This is what I wanted. I knew this is what I wanted. So this is probably single but dating, and you just kept hanging on. And I know this is going to go my way, and it's not going your way. And I feel 2020 is not in the early parts, is not going your way. Maybe in the later parts, not in the beginning. But it's like it's not going your way. And it's like I just see your hand opening as if you have to let go of that rope, let go of that and this kind of feels like a contracted relationship. Like it's something felt like it was twin flame. It was so big, and it just took off, and it was so much love. And it's not that the love is not real, is that the momentum on both sides is not able to be healed enough, well enough, or in the right circumstance to be able to hold on. And so there is a breakaway happening in some relationships that are in those situations that, and you know it in your head. I'm seeing that you already know this. You're very aware of this happening. Water, I'm seeing yellow. So I am seeing sun. I'm seeing power center. I'm seeing empowerment. Like once you can surrender over this kind of belief system that you've been hanging on to, you're going to see your strength really coming back. And this becomes expression. This is where you're finally able to express yourself. And I don't mean express yourself with angry projection. I mean with love and light projection, but with a big impact and a purpose behind it. And because when we project out the anger, it's like people are not listening, because it doesn't have the energy behind it. It can be something that was driven from anger, but the message is not coming from anger. So the expression of your words, the expression of what you need to say, or the expression of how you need to deal with situations really are going to change in 2020 as you release and surrender this over. I do feel as if oh, hi, Beth. Yeah, you're a water sign too. Lots of water signs joining in here. And so I also have judgment. And I feel like sometimes you can be a little bit judgmental, water signs. You can kind of, it's like, you can be a little bit judgmental, and this judgmental might be a little bit even on yourself. So it's like there's an inward journey happening for water signs in 2020. And this is why I'm picking up the challenges. You have some inner work to do. You have an inward journey to take. And even though 2019 was the inward journey as well, this is another level, as if for like, just like, it's like a, and I remember writing about this. I have a big writing about the jawbreaker and about being a kid and putting that jawbreaker in your mouth, and you see it as this great big jawbreaker candy, and you can barely hold it in your mouth. It's so big, but you want it. You want it so bad. Like you had this. So it's like life. You have this big dream, and you keep, and then all of a sudden you realize how big it is, and you're just like, oh God, it's going to take me forever to get to the core. It's going to take me forever to get to the center. And that's what the problems and the situations and the challenges that are coming up. So, it feels like you took this on, you thought you could bite into it, and you realized you can't, that you got to go through each layer to do the work. You got to go through each of the emotions. You got to go through all of the challenges. You got to challenge yourself to some days put the face on. You got to challenge yourself some days to push through. You got to challenge yourself to just say, you know what, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And so you can. You have such strength. Water is a powerful thing. And never underestimate a water sign. Water signs can do a lot of things. They can conquer a lot of things, and they can take on a lot of actions. And they can also do a lot of damage. So this is where the words come in, is that, you can do a lot of, water signs can do a lot of damage, but what kind of damage, what do we want to cleanse out? We don't want to lose the good people in our lives, and we don't want to lose the good things in our lives. And so by being very hard on ourselves and not spending as much time inward as we need to, we tend to kind of sometimes shut down. So this jawbreaker is, like I said, and then when it takes you a while, and then you're getting closer. It gets smaller, and you're getting closer and closer. Well, this is what it feels like. Your jawbreaker is now this little tiny piece. But there's still that last little bit of the jawbreaker before you can get to like the bubble gum in the very middle of the jawbreaker. And when you get to it, you get to chew on the good stuff. You get to chew on the good things in life. You get to embrace the good things, but you've got to do this last layer. If you take it out and you throw it away now and you give up, you're missing out on the good things. And there is some beautiful good things coming, and it's coming closer to, the fall, into late summer, fall, all the way into winter. And if you're in the year of the rat this year, really look up your Chinese horoscope coming up. February, we change over. We're still in the year of the pig. This is, and so this is really switching over into that shrewd, getting into all the little corners. Like, you can dig your way through anything, and getting into the corners, it's like dusting out the corners in your empire. And I teach about the empire when I teach the More Than Existing program that I teach, is that, we build the strong foundation and we're building this empire, but we've got to get into the corners. You've got to dust out the final corners in this house of ourselves to be able to get to that sweet spot. And that's what you're searching for, is the sweet spot for my water signs. So you're dusting out your corners, you're down to that last little piece of that jawbreaker, and you're right there, and it's right there waiting for you. And this golden light of the God consciousness, I feel like, is keeping you safe and protected as you go through this. And it's going to be a journey that will be you're worthy of taking this journey inward. And if you don't, if you give up too soon, I feel as if there's a sense of becoming cold. Like, sometimes for the Pisces in early 2020, you're going to feel like you want to go back into this cold, shut down energy. Don't let that fool you. Don't let that fool you. And I feel like there's a falling away of people and situations that are really not aligned to this next part of your journey, or they're not compassionate understanding of what you have been through, which is very important for you. It's that you need to be surrounded by people who understand that they need to be patient, and they need to have as much compassion as what you have. Financially, definitely goes into this little bit of a challenge for some of the water signs as well, and I think that's because there's so much shifting and changing happening. There's some moves into new directions, some moves to new towns, new cities, whatever it may be, and it's like you need to be bigger. Like you're not here to play small in 2020. You feel small in the beginning, but it's not. You're here to be big, and you're expanding out your environment. You're expanding out your world, and you're being and you want to surround yourself in 2020 with people of honesty and integrity, and that includes being honest with yourself about what's not working that you have hung on to for way too long, that now has to be shed going into 2020. I haven't even got to a card for you guys. So you are being appreciated is a message that I'm getting very clear. You're being appreciated. The people that are coming into your life, or the people that are your hang-on people that are there through thick and thin, they appreciate all of who you are, your character flaws, your beautiful personality, the wonderful light of you. They appreciate it all. I do feel there is some of you trying to hang on to somebody from the past, and there's a bit of manipulation happening around this. Let it go. Let it go. Don't keep trying to hang on to what's no longer needed for you. Surrender it over. And see, it comes right to this home. Call your spirit home. And this is this empire that I'm talking about. It's like sweeping out the corners. You're dusting out the rugs out through the window, right? You're just throwing out all of the things that cannot go past the beginning of the year. They weren't serving you well before. They're not going to serve you well in the future. You're done with it. And so you're really letting it go. And also the fact that you're such... there's so many empaths within the water signs. Once you're no longer shutting down, once you can embrace, once you get to that center, that jawbreaker, that sweet spot, I feel like there's a lot of your gifts and your stories that you're going to share. And I see you sharing. And I feel like there's some new opportunities coming in where you take on opening up your gifts a little bit more. Sometimes our lowest moments are our most defining moments, and they become the moments that we break open, and they're the moments that we awaken. And this is a break open moment. So when you're at that center, when you finally get to that, I feel like that's an awakening that's happening. And I want to say this is happening by March, by February, the end of February, by March, April. Like, I just feel like you're really starting to say, recognizing that you are awakening. So from that stagnant water comes the lotus flower, that murky, right? And this is your lotus flower year. This is a real big lotus flower year for water signs to really awaken, open after the challenges, and through those challenges, like I said, you're just coming into a big life of your own, and it will be a beautiful it'll be it's going to be a beautiful summer. It's going to be a beautiful summer. I see there's some of you going to the water to get married. I just got a buzzy little head. I feel as some of you are going to the water to also get married. And this comes by the summer, or by September, October. There is love is in the air. So not everybody has got, love is in the air. You've gotten through all this rough spots, but love is in the air, and you're really, truly opening your heart and letting love in, and this is transformation that's happening big time. It's like the gathering of friends and family, and I just see everybody there, and with it comes in children. Like, I'm seeing you, if it's not your children, if you're not having your own children, like this person you're marrying has children, and I just see everybody is there, but also the possibility of a new, I'm getting a birth. So this could be a rebirth, it could be a new birth. So be open to the fact that even if you thought you would not be getting married, and it's funny because this came up a little bit in the earth sign, so Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. So maybe it's an earth sign and a water sign getting married, maybe, but there is love in the air. And I'm going to come back a little bit to this honesty. And the card that came out for the validation of this was tell the truth. Tell the truth. Who do you need to tell the truth? Is it yourself? When you sit down and we write and we start to journal, we take ownership and responsibility for our own lives. This is the year you are taking full ownership, full responsibility, for your life, for your happiness, and stepping up. And you're really investing in your spirit this year. So this is that jawbreaker moment again, is that invest in your spirit. Same with the water, you're making the investment into the essence of your soul, your right at the core of you, that you're knowing that you can't continue on the way that it has been going. You need to do something that makes it different. And that I want to say those tantrums, when we're not getting our way and we have those tantrums, it's like, instead of the tantrum moments that that take you out of that alignment with your core essence, reach out and reach up. Reach out and reach up. Reach up to the spirit world. Reach up to the divine. Just say, I'm not sure how to deal with this. I'm not sure where to go from here. Help me. And I listen to a lot of Joel Osteen. I can never. Joel Osteen. No O in. And he was talking about, you promised me. God, you promised me. And I sat down and made a list of God, you promised me. And in return, I promised you. And when I did that, I really awakened to my ownership and responsibility, to the action steps that we have to take in our own lives to bring forth the changes. And so instead of being angry and mad and stamping feet and having tantrums, or laying the blame on somebody else, or playing the blame game of either blaming ourselves or blaming somebody else, because you look back and you go, oh, well, so-and-so's fault that no. Let's go. And so we let go of that blame game. We take ownership and responsibility. God, you promised me a good life, whatever it may be, whatever you're writing out, and then look at, I promise that I would do this. And so you're starting to make commitments to yourself. This is a year of commitments for water signs. It's a commitment to yourself, a commitment to your healing, a commitment to your journey, commitment to everything that aligns you to a healthy life. And by the end of the year, I just feel as if there's a healthy life, many changes in the right direction, but there's a flow. There is a flow of love, a flow of empowerment, going directly to the sun. Like, I just feel like I just see the sun shining down on the water, and there's just this beautiful essence. And I feel like spend a lot of time at the water. This summer, if possible, spend as much time with your feet in the water, near the water, all the way into even booking holidays. If you can afford it and you can go on those holidays, book as many as you can. And when you go back into that flow, you start to see what you're worthy of, and you're breaking those old habits, and that investment that you're making into yourself becomes an investment into everything within your life, including the flow of financial gains, the flow of love, abundance, wherever it may be. But it's a year of shifting. So you're going to be doing the work, putting the work in, and remember, you have free will. Everything is totally up to you, and this is general, this is not personal. So to book your own personal forecast reading, they do take me 2 weeks from the time you purchase. It's usually 2 weeks before they get back to you, before I get the videos back to you in the wait list. And you'll get a full video recording. You'll get a little write-up with a picture of the cards that I've chosen for you, and I'd go through the full 12 months. And it's $140 Canadian. And the link is actually all below on how you can get yours booked and have your own personal one. This is general. This is for the collective of those born under the earth and water signs. So thank you for joining me today. Thank you for being here. If you're watching this after the live, know that the energy that's exuded in the meditating and the healing that I do, I work as a spiritual healer, so I do infuse it with the beautiful healing love of the God consciousness, and I bless with the love of Jesus, Holy and Holy Mother Mary through the whole session. This is a time of transformation, love, changes. 2020 is paths and journeys and transformation. Much love to you all, and you'll be seeing a whole lot more of me in my YouTube channel, doing a lot of lives. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be expanding my business in this direction. And also, if you watch a few videos back, you can also see my More Than Existing program that'll be starting February the 27th. Again, the level 1, it has 4 levels. I just started level 2 with another group, and it's a program that really takes us from that place of living in the shadows of just existing into living our truest of true versions of ourselves and loving every piece of us. So if you're interested, you can send me an email. You can go back and watch the testimonial video. That's a few videos back. And so much love to you all. If you're a fire sign or an air sign, those videos are already posted. They were done a few days ago. So you're very welcome, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you all again tomorrow when I'm just coming in to do just guidance work. So much love. Bye-bye.